You buy from one country and sell to another country, that is called interport. That means you go for importing the product. And what we Indians feel is we always proudly say that we are working for USA, we are working for Germany. What exactly they want to prove is globalization means what? That is the entire world is looked as a single market. That is what happened in the international business. Heterogeneity, it is totally very huge and it differs from place to place, country to country. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Business Studies in Vidyashram Pure College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to one and all. Now we are in the last chapter, that is called International Business. Now what exactly international business is? Now you will be knowing this topic, but you don't know what exactly the concepts are, right? The thing is here, when we went with the 10th chapter called internal trade, where we only went with two topics, that is wholesale and retail, and we went more with retail business. The same way here also, when we go with the international business, we have three things. One is import, export, interport. Now what exactly import is? Many of you are still in a dilemma that import and export, what exactly it is. I'll tell you here. Whenever we buy something from the other country, right, we buy that product, we call it as import. And when we sell anything from our country to some other country, we call it as export. But there is one more concept called interport. Now what this interport is, you buy from one country and sell to another country, that is called interport. That means you go for importing the product and then exporting the product. Now it's all done. Import, export, interport, we got to know, so we don't need to go very deep. But here in this chapter, we are supposed to go very deep. That is, what is the import procedure, what is the export procedure, what is the interport procedure, and what are the legal documents which are required, and who can start this international business. Now for that, I'll be giving you a proper introduction. Now introduction is like this. I'll tell you what exactly the introduction is. Now people have know that business is the only thing where you can make lot of money. So what happens is they go with two things. One is manufacturing, another is giving services. But there is one more thing. I'll not manufacture nor I'll give services, but still I can make money. Now what exactly it is? Now you are supposed to identify those economic activities. Now here there are few people like, see, wholesaler and retailer. Wholesaler was not producing anything. Retailer wasn't doing anything apart from selling it, but still he used to make money. How exactly it was? I'll tell you here. The same way international business also. Just by exchanging of goods, people can make a lot of money. So understand, whoever is the manufacturer, whoever is the consumer, but what exactly a business is, the business is entire process. When I say process, it includes buying and selling of goods and services on a regular basis with the main motive to earn profit. And here in this business, you need to understand there are countries involved. When I say countries are involved, that means there are more than one country involved in the business. So one of the country will be for the importing or the other country will be for exporting. So here please understand the introduction part. Countries all over the world are undergoing the fundamental shift in the way they produce and market various products and services. The national economies which so far were pursuing the goal of self-reliance are now becoming increasingly dependent upon others for, now please understand, now the countries which were self-reliance, and now what they feel is they are now depending on the other country as well, right, upon other for procuring. Procuring means what? I can't manufacture, but I'll buy from somebody else. That is called procuring. Procuring as well as supplying various kinds of goods and services. Due to increased cross-border trade and investment, countries are no more isolated. Now here you need to always remember we had a special reform. What is it? A special reform. That is, our economy was reformed. That is, reform of economy happened in the year 1991. Please understand this. In the year 1991, we had our prime minister called P.V. Narasimha Rao, and we had a finance minister called Manmohan Singh. Now, those two people were actually the pioneers who actually went with the 1991 reform, that is economic reform of India, where they gave us something called LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. When they gave us LPG, what really happened was there was a liberalized in the way we went with the taxes, and privatized in the sense there were many public sectors which couldn't be looked after or taken care by the government. So the government decided to make those as privatized so that people can take care of it, and healthy relation can also be developed. And the last one is globalization. See, today we'll only talk about this one, that is globalization, because we also open the doors or the gates of Indian market to the entire world. There are many people who open their gates for India. That means we went with international business. Globalization means what? That is, the entire world is looked as a single market. That is what happened in the international business. So I gave so many examples here. We have given now Indian flag is there. So there are so many other flags. That means what? That is, everybody can do a easy trade within as well as outside the country. Now, meaning of IB. When I say IB, it is called international business. Business transaction taking place within the geographical boundaries of a nation is known as domestic. So last session we understood about internal trade or national business. It is also referred to as internal business or home trade. Manufacturing and trade beyond the boundaries of one's own country is known as international business. So what is international business? That is, you go outside the country and then you do it. That is called international business. Now we went with the 10th chapter saying internal trade, where the trading, the buying and selling used to happen within the boundaries, but international business happens out of the country's boundaries. So at least two countries are involved in this international business. Reasons for international business. There are, say, 100 of reasons of international business. I'll be telling you a few of the reasons of international business. The reason is, first thing, now we need more customers. So what is that we do? I'll give you an example here. Now I want to start a shop of, say, orchids, the flowers, right? And I want to start it. Now within Mysore, I'll start this business. Now I'm done with the entire Mysore. All the Mysorean people, they know about my stall and my shop, my flowers, all those things. Now what happens is, I want to actually widen my business. I want to grow my business. So what I do is, I'll make sure that at least 4 to 5 different states should actually have my business. Now what happened? I went with Karnataka, Maharashtra, where people will actually buy more flowers. Goa for their Valentine kind of a thing, or impressing anybody, they go with it. And one more, say, I went with Tamil Nadu. Now even there I got more people. Now people are there and they are buying my flowers. I'm really making good profit. Now what I thought is, again, I want to actually make more branches and open more branches, because I can feel that I'll make more profit. But I got to know that there is this one country where orchids are very costly, and they cannot grow more flowers in their country because of the climatic condition, because of so many other reasons. But the people, they love it. Now what happened is, instead of me investing huge money in different places, I can actually have one kind of a business in a country where people, they love orchids. Now I'll go and I'll start my business in Bhutan. Now there is a country called Bhutan, and Bhutan is very friendly with India. And the law of land, please understand the word law of land. Okay, whenever we go with international business, we are supposed to know the law of land, and only then you can actually do this. And after knowing all these things, I went and I started a shop in Bhutan also. Now what exactly I'm doing, I'm going with international business. Now I'll supply all my flowers to Bhutan, and there also I'll have my branch, and I'll start selling it. Now understand, why did I go there? Because I know that there are people who want to buy flowers, and a lot of people are there, and I can attract more customers, I can make more money, I can make more profit, I can be a happy person and live peacefully. That is why I went internationally. So that is one of the reasons. Second reason, let's go with it. I want to start a company, and my company is all about software company, where I take more projects from USA, UK, Russia, Germany. Now what I do is, I don't want to settle in India, I want to go somewhere else in search of laborers and employees. Now there is something called cheap labor, cheap employees. When I say that, that means they're not cheap, the salary will be very less, and they'll work for me better. That is the reason we go internationally. That means, now example, in India, if I need to give say 20,000 rupees for anybody, whoever is master in business or master in engineering, now I need to pay 20,000 or 30,000 or 40,000. Now I'll choose few of the places. Say I'll start my company in Nepal. Now Nepal is also a country, right? So I'll start my company in Nepal, where I get people who will work for me even with 10,000 rupees. Now what happened is, I'm saving money, so even that is also a reason. That means you get cheap labor, so you will start it. That's the reason here. Now you can understand that USA people, right? Now they want the work to be done. That's why they hire Indians. And what we Indians feel is, we always proudly say that we are working for USA, we are working for Germany. What exactly they want to prove is, they cannot afford the USA citizen to be a person or an employee in their country. The reason is too much expensive is what it is. But if it is an Indian, then 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, they'll definitely work for it. So they come for searching cheap laborer. Now first one, the fundamental reason behind international business is that the countries cannot produce equally well or cheaply all that they need, right? One is quantity as well as quality, they are just talking about. This is because of the unequal distribution of natural resources among them, or differences in their productivity level. Now, one more reason is what? Now, whatever I don't have here in India and I get it in somewhere else, in the search of natural resources or the resources which is there in the country, we also go to the international business level. Next we have is availability of various factors of production, such as labor. Now see, understand the labor. Because of the cheap labor also, there are people who go internationally. Capital and raw material that are required for producing different goods and services. Productivity and production, that is most differ among nations due to the various socio-economic, geographical and political reason. There are, please understand this political reason. I always tell my students that is L step. These are the things which involves in the international business. The L step, in the sense, if you have played chess, you will know that the horse actually moves with the L step. Now L is all about legal, S is social, T is technological, E is economical, and P is political. If you feel that the business here, everything is proper, then you are supposed to start a business. Now, there are many countries where there is a ban for few of the product. The same way, there are many countries where that ban isn't there. So understand, that's the reason people, they go for international business. That is, they don't want anybody to restrict them. People want them to, and people want the government to encourage them. Because of the government also, there are few people who go and they start the international business things. And the last reason where I have given you here is Due to these differences, it is not uncommon to find one particular country being in a better position to produce better quality products and or at lower cost than what the other nations can do. That means what? There are so many countries where you have inequality when it comes to the population, the economy, the opportunity, and the resources. So here, international business, why? Because you see that opportunity that you can start a business, you can grow the business, as well as you can make a lot of money from the business. That's the reason people go internationally. And the next one we have is domestic versus international business. Now understand that there is a lot of difference between domestic and when you go with international business. The first one here is nationality of buyers and sellers. When we go with the nationality, students, for the domestic, the nationality is the same because we are going with only internal trade. When we understand about international, we go with whichever country we are going, the nationality will change. Next is nationality of other stakeholder, that is who are interested in a business. Now domestic are again the Indians. If you are going with India, has the internal trade, and the stakeholders are also the same nationality. But if you go international, there are a lot of many people. The large scale of stakeholders will be there across the globe. And mobility of factors of production, then we have customer heterogeneous, that is heterogeneity across market. When you go with heterogeneity, what happens is domestic you have less heterogeneous people because all are from one country. In that one country you probably have few states, few union territory. So what happens is heterogeneous is little less. When you compare international business, the heterogeneity, it is totally very huge, and it differs from place to place, country to country. The next differences are differences in business system and practice. The way US practice its accounting principles, the Indian principles are totally different. That is what it is. Next is political system and risk. There are democratic country, there are communist country, there are social economic country, there are capitalistic countries. So what happens is the entire system is differs in the international business. But whereas if you go with internal trade, what happens is though the states or the union territory are different, but when it comes to one nation, the nation is guarded by one constitution. So here they'll not have more heterogeneity, you will have homogeneous more in the domestic and heterogeneous in the international. Business regulations and policies. Now policies will also differ. So I'll be explaining all these topics in the next session where you will understand what exactly all these things are. And last one is about the currency. Now the way $1 is equal to how many rupees, I don't need to tell you, you will calculate by your own. So what happens is $1 and 1 rupee, there is a lot of difference, that is currency used in the business transaction. Now when you understand the Kuwaiti dinar with euros or Swiss dollars, you'll get to know that there's a lot of difference between international business. But whereas in the domestic, what happens is from Kanyakumari to Jammu Kashmir, we go with rupee as our standard, and the money will not differ in internal trade, but the money will definitely differ in the international business. So these are the differences between international business and domestic business. In the next session, I'll explain you about the entire process of how it is differences are arise and what exactly we are supposed to do it. So thank you so much. I'll see you when I see.